The fog never lifted. I watched the sky for an hour from the stairwell window, waiting for the gray to thin out the way it usually does by mid-morning. It didn't. It just sat there, dense and low, pressing down on the city like a lid. By 9 o'clock, I stopped waiting and went back to Marcus. I'd brought him up to my apartment the night before. Getting him up 4 flights of stairs had taken 40 minutes. He moved like someone carrying weight on the inside, not a physical injury, but something heavier. He'd barely spoken on the way up. I gave him the couch, my last clean blanket, a can of soup I heated on the camp stove. He ate half of it, set the rest down, stared at the ceiling. I didn't push him to talk. Some things need time to find their shape before a person can put words to them. That morning, I went out alone. The neighborhood had changed again overnight. Not violently, not dramatically, just quieter, thinner. The few people I'd seen on previous days, the woman from the brownstone, the diner owner with the folding table, the group that had gathered around the man in the red jacket, none of them were anywhere. Their absence had a texture to it now. Not fled, not hiding, just gone. In the same clean, unexplained way the soldiers at the checkpoint on 8th had been gone. I walked 3 blocks in each direction, making a slow grid of the streets around my building. I counted 7 abandoned vehicles, 2 of them still running. Engines idling, empty, doors shut. A radio inside one of them was cycling through static and fragments of an old broadcast, looping in, looping. I found a front door standing open on 9th Street, light on inside, a battery lantern still glowing on a kitchen table. A half-eaten meal. A chair pulled back at an angle, like someone had stood up quickly. I stood in the doorway and listened. Nothing. I did not go inside. On the way back, I stopped in the middle of the street and looked north toward the medical district. The fog was thicker in that direction, heavier, and through it, maybe 6 blocks away, something moved at the edge of my vision, low to the ground, fluid, crossing the intersection and disappearing between buildings in less than a breath. I stood completely still. I waited. 2 minutes, 3. Nothing came out of the fog, but the air pressure shifted. The same displacement I'd felt the day before near the barricade. That invisible weight of something large moving near you. Too close to be comfortable, too quick to track. I walked back to my building fast. I did not run. Running felt like it would be the wrong choice. Marcus was sitting up when I got back. That was a good sign, but his color was wrong. Ashen. The kind of pale that lives under good skin when something internal is working against it. You wet out, he said. Statement, not question. Stayed local. 3-block radius. He nodded slowly. You see anything? North end. Something crossed the intersection on 9th. Fast, low. He looked at his hands. Something shifted in his expression. Not quite fear, more like the confirmation of something he'd already calculated and hadn't wanted to total up. Sit down, he said. I sat. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Outside, the wind moved against the window, and somewhere far away, maybe 12 blocks, maybe more, a sound traveled through the fog that wasn't wind and wasn't mechanical. Low, brief, gone before I could name it. Marcus heard it too. I've been thinking about the checkpoint on 8th, he said. The 2 soldiers. What I heard when they... He stopped, started again. In 12 years of service, I heard a lot of sounds that I wish I could forget. What I heard on 8th Street doesn't fit into any category I have. What does it sound like? He looked at me directly. It sounded like silence, he said, but the fast kind. Like when you're in a firefight and a shot goes off too close and everything just cuts out. That specific silence, here and then gone. Both of them in under 4 seconds. I tried to hold that image still in my mind and look at it clearly. The way it moved, Marcus continued, it wasn't random. It went for the 2 of them, and then it stopped. Didn't keep going, didn't spread out. It was deliberate, contained, like it was choosing. Yeah, he exhaled like it was choosing. His breathing went shallow around noon. I didn't have anything useful. No medication, no equipment, nothing that addressed whatever was shutting down behind his eyes. I sat on the floor next to the couch and stayed close and made sure he knew he wasn't alone. At some point, he reached out and grabbed my forearm. His grip was still strong. Military hands. Listen to me, he said. His voice dropped to something just above a whisper. When I was pressed against the wall on 7th, before you found me, He swallowed. I saw 3 of them, coming out of the fog from different directions. He held up 3 fingers, not together, spread out. I felt the cold move down my neck. Marcus, they weren't hunting randomly, he said. They were searching, organized, like they were clearing a grid. He looked at me with absolute steadiness. It wasn't alone, he whispered. His grip loosened. I sat with him for a long time after. Then I covered him with the blanket and stood at the window. The fog below was still, dense, impenetrable past 30 feet. I was still looking when something at the edge of the visible world shifted. Not one shape, 3, spread across the width of the street, moving slowly north, methodical, evenly spaced, like a line being drawn across a map, like a search pattern. They weren't running, they weren't fleeing, they were working, and they were moving in the direction I had gone this morning. Retracing my exact steps, they don't scatter, they coordinate, and one of them just stopped in the middle of the street, directly below my window. It's looking up,